What was the craziest scandal at your school? I was on my way to math class when my friend ran up to me and said, "Dude, I just saw your mom march into the office and slap Principal Martin in the face. What happened?" I dropped my textbook and sprinted down the hallway toward the main office where a crowd was already gathering, and I could hear my mother screaming while Principal Martin was shouting back that she'd assaulted him and he was calling the police. When I pushed through the crowd, I saw my mother standing there with her face bright red and her hands shaking, while Principal Martin held a tissue to his bloody nose, and the secretary was on the phone calling for security. "Mom, what are you doing?" I asked, mortified as everyone had their phones out recording. "Your principal put hidden cameras in the girls' locker rooms," my mother announced loud enough for everyone to hear, and the entire crowd went silent. My embarrassment turned to horror. Principal Martin had been at every school event since I was a freshman, giving speeches about integrity and safety. His face went from angry to panicked. "That's a completely baseless accusation," he said. "My daughter's friend Sophia found one yesterday when she was changing for volleyball practice," my mother retorted, pulling out her phone. I felt sick because Sophia was my girlfriend. It was hidden behind the air vent, and when she told her parents, they called me because I work in IT and traced where the feed was going. "That's impossible," Principal Martin said, sweat forming on his forehead. "Our school doesn't have cameras in private areas." "These weren't school cameras," my mother said, showing her phone screen to the growing crowd of students and teachers. "These were tiny wireless cameras that connected to a private server, and guess whose office computer was the only device with access to that server?" The secretary stepped away from Principal Martin like he was radioactive while teachers started backing toward the door. "Someone must have hacked my computer," Principal Martin said quickly. "I would never do something like that. I've been an educator for 20 years. When I accessed your server, I found your Amazon account still logged in with the purchase history showing you bought 12 micro cameras 6 months ago," my mother said, scrolling through her phone. 6 months meant he'd been watching students all school year, and my skin crawled thinking about every girl who'd changed for gym class having no idea they were being recorded. "You hacked into my computer?" Principal Martin shouted. "That's illegal. What's illegal is recording minors changing clothes," my mother shot back, and several teachers started shouting while trying to get students out of the office. The vice principal pushed through the crowd looking horrified. "Tell me this isn't true," she said. "I was just trying to monitor for vandalism and drug use," Principal Martin said, his voice cracking. "In the girls' locker room?" the vice principal asked. "By hiding cameras behind vents?" "I was trying to protect the students," Principal Martin said desperately. "You were watching children undress," my mother said, her voice deadly calm now. "And I know the real reason you placed those cameras." Everyone went quiet again, and I felt my legs go weak because if secretly recording kids changing wasn't the reason, what could possibly be worse? "I traced the server to see who else had been accessing the feeds," my mother said, and Principal Martin's face went completely white. "You weren't just watching them yourself." "Mom, what are you talking about?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "He's been selling access to the live streams," my mother said, holding up her phone showing chat logs. $50 a month for basic access, $200 for premium with recording capabilities, and these subscribers have usernames from all over the world. I threw up into the trash can by the secretary's desk because the thought of strangers watching my girlfriend and classmates changing made me physically sick, and several other students were crying. The crowd erupted in chaos and students started screaming while teachers tried to maintain order, but security guards had arrived and were trying to clear the office. "That's not true," Principal Martin shouted, pure panic in his voice. "Someone else must have done this using my computer. Your PayPal account linked to the server has received over $30,000 in the last 6 months," my mother said, all from anonymous payments that match the subscription dates. $30,000 from selling videos of kids at my school, and I wanted to punch him myself, but I was shaking too hard. "You've been selling videos of our children?" the vice principal asked, looking like she was going to be sick. "How many perverts have been watching us?" A girl from my PE class screamed. "The police are already downloading everything from the server," my mother said. "There's one more thing," my mother added. She turned around to look at our gym teacher who was standing in the doorway, his face lighting up like a Christmas tree. "I've been waiting for this," he said, as he started approaching Principal Martin before doing something none of us expected. Full story on the channel below.